Talk about him all offseason. Gronk.
Gronk.
Yeah, here we go.
All right, Gronk. We know he signed with the Buccaneers.
I
We
know
know
you
he is
want to
Tom
put.
Brady's favorite target of all time. He is
Don't
the
do it.
best tight end to ever
Yeah, I
play
agree with that.
in the National Football League.
All right, come on, let's go.
Don't do it though.
He has more
His resume.
touchdowns over his career than anybody in that span.
I know. Look, all we care about is 2020, right, Matt? There you go.
Get him.
What is up, Fackers? It's time again. We're finishing off our tier list. This time we're doing the tight end tiers for the NFL fantasy football season 2020 year. We already did the wide receivers, quarterbacks, running backs. This is the last position we have to do, so
About
might
our
as well.
kicker tier list.
Yeah, well, if you're still using kickers, you might as well just get rid of them at this point. Like,
Get out of here.
kickers, you draft the last round and then you just hope for the best, or you can just stream them. But
Yeah,
there is going to be some good tight ends out there. Maybe some late round sleepers you can take. So we're actually going to rank these ones. I think I just kind of sprung that on Ryan right now. But
I mean, we always end up trying to do that, right?
yeah, but you know,
We usually rearrange them.
Britt gets in the way sometimes. But
That's true. Well, he's not here.
yeah, I don't know how we're going to do tiebreakers, but maybe we'll just hopefully agree on every one of them. So we'll just get straight into it, I guess. First guy on the list, Darren Waller.
Well, our categories, just so they
Oh,
they
yeah,
know
that's
what
true,
we're
yeah.
thinking here. We got elite, which is pretty clear what elite means. Every week starter. Let's pretend we're like 12-team league. So I say we do 12 between the elite and every week starters, like we normally do.
I think you
Sound
can
good?
have more than 12 every week starter. Like, I don't know about in tight ends, but like there's I don't know. We might disagree on some things. So
Elite every week starter, streamer, which is someone you can pick up and stream when need be, and then just trash, because it's not like you're keeping these bad tight ends on your bench like you might do with a running back and wide receiver.
yeah,
So we just trash tight ends.
yeah. Like Ryan said, you're not gonna draft. You shouldn't draft two tight ends. I guess there might be some cases where you might, but most of the time you're gonna have your one tight end and that's it, or you're gonna be streaming them. So, yeah, I think we only have one team that we listed two tight ends for, but every other team we're just gonna do one tight end. And the first team is the Las Vegas Raiders with Darren Waller. We already did a video on him. I'm high on him, but how do you feel?
I mean, I like him too. I don't think he quite cracks that elite status yet. I have him as maybe the first ranking every week starter. Kind of gives away who's in my elite class. But
Yeah, oh
I
yeah.
have him as an every week starter.
Okay, I mean I agree with an every week starter. I can't put him on as elite yet either, but I really do like him this year. All right, then we'll go with Mike Gesicki on the Dolphins with Fitzpatrick probably starting the year there.
Gesicki was a pleasant surprise last year. He was playable, especially for us. If you followed us in our 20-team league, you know we had a lot of bad luck last year. Gesicki was actually a guy we picked up and did pretty well for us. He's not quite an every week starter if we're just talking about standard 10 to 12-team leagues, but I like him as a streamer, especially with Ryan Fitzpatrick there, who's going to throw the ball a lot.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Yeah, it's not you're not gonna be confident starting him every week, but like you said, there's probably like I could see him going off for about 7 weeks, where you'd be like, oh, you'd be comfortable starting him. But yeah,
There's worse options.
yeah. And then where we get to the bottom of the barrel, I think maybe the last place guy here, I don't even know, Matt Lacoste at New England, just throw him in the trash.
Well, Lacoste, yeah, he's trash. I mean, Patriots, we know they love a good tight end, but that's because they've had Gronk and Aaron Hernandez for so long. With Cam Newton there, Cam Newton does like throwing to his tight ends, and we know Bill Belichick does also. But I don't think Lacoste is going to be the guy to do it for you. He's, just like you said, pretty bottom of the barrel tight end there.
Yeah, not much to be said about him. This is a guy, if you're following our Instagram page, we did I think it was I called it a sleeper. We each picked 3 sleepers, and this was one of my guys as a tight end sleeper. Chris Herndon on the Jets, but we'll see how How do you feel about him?
2 years ago, I think was when he came onto the scene and had some good games, right? 2018. And so he was
Yeah.
kind of an under the radar pick last year. People were hoping that he would come out and be a tight end that could play. He was hurt all last year. Instead, the Jets had a whole fuck,
Yeah. Texans
Ryan
tight end Ryan Griffin,
Ryan Griffin from the Texans, who
who
actually
had
was
some good
pretty
games.
decent last
Yeah.
year. But for me, God, he's close in that streamer category. I don't.
Don't. Yeah, I'm not letting you put him in trash if that's what you're trying to do.
He's closer. Go ahead and put him in streamer. We'll talk about it later.
Because he's gonna get. He's gonna.
He has an upside. He has an upside.
Because Ryan Griffin was a streamer last year. You could have streamed Ryan Griffin last year and been happy with it. He caught touchdowns.
Yeah.
He's got the talent too. I'll put him behind Gesicki just to make you happy, but I'm not letting you put him in trash.
He's
All
definitely
right.
behind Gesicki though.
Speaking of touchdowns, a guy that caught a lot of them over his years, getting kind of older now, going back or not back to the Steelers, but going to the Steelers, Eric Ebron.
Eric Ebron on the Steelers.
Look,
They still have Vance
they
McDonald.
do.
He had his one big year with the Colts where he caught double-digit touchdowns a couple years
Exactly.
ago. Besides that, though, he's been very disappointing.
I know what you're thinking here too. Like you want to put him in streamer, but can you trust him?
Like Vance McDonald might be the more productive tight
Yeah.
end there. I don't know how it's going to go. So
I feel like
for
Vance
me-
McDonald's being kind of underrated this year. People
For
see
me, I think I'm just looking. I have my list here, and I ranked on my list through 20 tight ends when I did my rankings earlier, and he didn't even make my top 20. So that leads me to believe he's going to be trash.
I could.
He's close.
I'm gonna put him as trash, but he's probably like the lead trash guy if that's any consolation. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay. All right. This is one of these upside guys that a lot of people are looking at. Maybe drafting late in the draft. Jonnu Smith on the Titans. Tannehill comes in. He was pretty efficient last year. Made AJ Brown, top 10 wide receiver.
Jonnu Smith on the Titans. Tannehill does get the tight end involved. Titans like to get the tight end involved. Before Delaney Walker kept getting broken every year, he was very productive for them. So I think Jonnu Smith is toward the bottom of the streamers. I'll put him in the streamer category. I actually like him ahead of Herndon.
I know you're gonna say that. Because I don't mind Jonnu Smith. I know he was used as a blocker a lot last year, which he didn't run a lot of routes, but I feel like with Delaney Walker gone, he might. So I'll put him ahead. Do you want to put him ahead of Gesicki?
I still like Gesicki better.
Okay, I'm okay with that. And then Max Williams on the Cardinals. I'm gonna say right now, Cardinals rarely used the tight end last year at all, so I'm just gonna throw him in trash.
Pretty toward the bottom in their tight end rankings. If you think about it, you can't even it's hard to even think about who their tight ends were the last few years. It's a high-powered offense.
Actually, I think they had Charles Clay last year. I think
they had Ricky Seals-Jones a couple years ago.
Yeah, and
it was actually okay.
But now it's a different offense now.
Yeah, Max Williams. They got all the receivers there. They got Kenyon Drake. He's trash.
I'm putting him ahead of Lacoste, though.
Sorry, Max.
With 2 X's, by the way, we learned that today.
2 Maxes.
All right, my boy, Hayden Hurst going to the Falcons.
Hurst.
You already know why I want to throw him. So Hooper was an every week starter last year. And I think Hayden Hurst is a better tight end than Hooper is. It's going to be an offense that targets the tight end quite a bit. I'm okay with throwing him as every week starter. I don't know about you.
He's pretty close to that borderline for me, but I'm okay putting him at the back end of the every week starter. Yeah. Like you said, the Falcons usually always have a productive tight end. He showed flashes in Baltimore. It's just Mark Andrews is already there, so he was kind of expendable. So yeah, I think he could excel with Matt Ryan throwing him the ball.
Yeah, I just want to point out too, these tier rankings are for this upcoming fantasy season, so we're not ranking them based on their past experience. Just throwing that out there. Okay. Obviously, because we're putting Hayden Hurst as an every week starter, but just in case you didn't get the hint already. All right, we're going to Ian Thomas on the Panthers.
Ian Thomas for me is a sneaky streamer.
Really?
Yeah, Panthers have shown they can have productive tight ends. Greg Olsen's been there forever, been a good fantasy
Yeah,
tight end.
that's a new offense though with a new QB.
Yeah, but let's look. I mean, they have decent receivers, but I mean, DJ Moore, Curtis Samuel, Robbie Anderson. Besides DJ Moore, those other guys aren't like anything that special. I think I like Ian Thomas as a back end streamer.
Okay, I mean, I'll give it to you. I'm putting it behind Hernan though. Yeah, I think they will.
Okay.
I'm doing it. I'm in control of the mouse, so I can put him wherever I want. But they will throw the ball a lot, I think. All right, Jimmy Graham, was so good in past years. Probably a top, maybe the top tight end, or number 2 at least behind Gronk.
Nationals pitcher just threw it like 20 feet over Aaron Judge's head. But yeah. All right, but Jimmy Graham, yeah, like you said, if we're thinking about 10 years ago when he burst on the scene for the Saints, he redefined the position, kind of like that first guy that came out that's like the huge 6'6", 6'7" guy, former basketball player like you've heard, and he went to Seattle, fell off pretty hard, went to Green Bay, was non-existent, going to Chicago now.
Which everyone was high on Trey Burton the past few years.
Trey Burton went there from Philly, and we thought, oh, Trey Burton's the next up-and-coming tight end. Yeah, I even mentioned to Matt, I didn't know he signed with the Colts. Like, you don't even hear about Trey Burton anymore. So Jimmy Graham, end of his career, he's washed up, going to that quarterback situation. I think you know where this is heading. He is trash.
But are we putting him ahead of number 2 trash?
Number 2 trash.
I guess it doesn't matter how we rank the trash, because when we say trash. Like you're not playing these guys. All right, Mark Andrews. We're not using a trash spot on him, but are we using the first elite spot on him?
I think
Mark
Andrews is our first elite tight end. Just so good last year.
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson's favorite target. Lamar Jackson led the league in passing touchdowns. He's up there. He had a bunch of receiving touchdowns. He gets end zone targets. Hayden Hurst is gone. He's going to get even more targets. Like, there's nothing you can say about him that's bad, really. Like, he's just in a perfect situation. He's an elite tight end now.
Yeah, I agree with it. I don't want to. I don't know. Well, I'll get to my point later on, but
I know what you're going to say, and you can still be elite and be behind a couple people.
No, yeah, obviously, like we're gonna have 2 tight ends going elite, but I'm gonna argue with you on 1 tight end if you try to throw him as elite, but we'll get to him in a second. All right.
I know who that is.
One of Ryan's sleepers this year, Blake Jarwin. I think I know where we were putting him, but I'll let you go ahead and talk about him.
Like I said, I like Blake Jarwin. He is. He's shown flashes the last couple of years, catching touchdowns. Jason Witten's finally gone. He's kind of the last man standing there as Cowboys tight ends go. I just don't quite think he's an every week starter yet. Still a little risky for me, especially with those 3 big receivers they have. Like, I don't know how many targets he's going to get. So for me, he's a streamer at this point with the chance to maybe play his way up into a guy that you would pick up and start maybe midway through the season. But for me, he's still just a streamer.
Just fine right here. Number 3. Or you like him ahead of Gesicki?
I like him ahead of Jonnu.
Really?
Like I said, I'm high.
It's your sleeper guy. I'll give it to you. I think I like Jonnu better, but all right, a guy that everyone tried to grab in their league last year after week 1, and then if you did, you wasted all your fab money on him because he didn't do
it. Week 1 fantasy performer. Probably had however many points he had in week 1. He probably combined for that many the next 6 weeks. Just absolute trash after that.
TJ Hawkinson on the Lions.
That Matt Stafford got hurt and his value just went down after that even more. But yeah, TJ Hawkinson.
I think he has value.
A streamer for me.
Yeah,
he could get back going. But Lions have been known to have these tight ends. I mean, Eric Ebron was there. He was shit. They had I can't think of the other guy.
The big dude that reminded me of Calvin Johnson a little bit.
Brandon Pettigrew.
Was it? Oh, it was Pettigrew. Yeah.
Brandon Pettigrew. He had like 1 good season and was just trash after that. Hawkinson for me is just a streamer. Maybe he could get it going, but I got to see it first.
Yeah. Where do you like him in here, though? Because I think he's showed potential. Even with that
like
one,
him
it was
right
only
there.
one game. You like him right here?
Yeah.
I can see it. These like three guys are here. Are probably interchangeable for me. Even Gesicki though. I don't know if I believe in Gesicki or not, but I'm letting you kind of run with this. All right, this is a guy Ryan knows personally. Actually, he doesn't know him personally, but he did go to the same school, college.
Went to the same college with like 60,000 other people, so
Yeah.
I'm pretty close with him. Hey, Sternberger, if you want to talk about his college days at A&M, came out of nowhere, was a stud, transferred from Kansas, was a stud at A&M for one season. He I think he set like our tight end records, some of them at least.
Yeah,
Got
great
drafted by
receiving tight
Green
end.
Bay. Drafted by Green Bay last year. Was a backup to Jimmy Graham. He was actually hurt a lot last year. Didn't play that much, but now he figures to be the man in Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers, we know, has loved tight ends in the past.
When they've had
After
good tight
saying
ends.
all that, he's trash for me right now.
Really?
I gotta see it.
This
Yeah,
is a
he
guy
hasn't shown
that
anything.
I could see as a sleeper, but yeah, you're not going to be. You're only going to start streaming him when he starts producing some games. You're not going to.
Like, now if he pulls a Hawkinson and scores 20 points week one, are people going to pick him up? Yep.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So,
They did sign that other tight end, and we talked about the Jacksonville tight end.
Yeah, Mercedes Lewis.
Mercedes Lewis, yeah. So he does have a little competition, but yeah, I'm just gonna throw him in the trash because, like I said, it doesn't matter about these rankings in the trash. But all right, this is our tight end on the 20-team league. If you watch the video or our live stream, I mean, Tyler Higbee, end of the season last year, amazing. Now, can he finish or start this season? I mean, probably. I think we're just gonna throw.
We invested quite a bit in him.
We did.
20-team league, like you said, end of the season last year, absolute stud. The only problem is, Gerald Everett, his health. He's another good tight end they have.
Brandon Cook's leaving leaving a lot of targets on the table.
Leaving, open up some targets. But I think he's just a solid every week starter.
Yeah. I'm gonna put him. You want to put him ahead of Hurst? Well, the thing is,
I put him ahead of Hurst. We drafted him ahead of Hurst.
Well, I wanted to take Hurst, but Britt convinced us to take Higbee. So
Higbee's safer.
Yeah, I guess it's 2 versus 1 here. I'd put Hurst ahead of him, but I'm gonna act like Britt's. I'm gonna act like Britt's here.
Yeah. Kyle, he just texted me.
All right, Kyle Rudolph, the guy. In the past, you've streamed for just the hope of a touchdown, but I think I'm gonna put him as trash. I'm gonna say it right now.
We've talked about, if you've listened to us so many times, we say tight end. Basically, once you get past like tight end 12, it's just not even that. In the years past, it's been like after tight end 7, it's like touchdown or bust. Kyle Rudolph is the ultimate touchdown or bust tight end. I've had him plenty of times over the last few seasons. He'll contribute with 7 points, which will be 1 catch for 6 yards and a touchdown. Like that's his typical stat line.
You're hoping for a touchdown.
If he gets that touchdown, then he is productive as a tight end. But at this point in his career, and they have Irv Smith, who I actually like a lot, is an up and coming tight end. He's in the trash.
Yeah, this is one of those like teams I was saying how you could do 2 tight ends because Irv Smith is somewhat relevant in fantasy, but both of them are probably just trash right now. So go him there. All right, Jared Cook had an actual surprising year last year. Definitely could have started him every week if you wanted to, and in previous years, you were kind of disappointed, but last year you would have been happy with having him on your team.
This is now 2 years in a row. He had a big last year in Oakland when he was with the Raiders.
That's true, yeah.
Came to New Orleans, had a lot of touchdowns last year for Drew Brees. He's still the main tight end there in New Orleans. He's an every week starter for me right now. Back end every week starter.
Yeah, I think at some point he's going to drop off, especially with how many receivers they have in New Orleans, but for now, I'm going to throw him at the back end, even behind Hurst.
I like that. Yeah.
All right. I think you've been burned by this guy before, right? Evan Ingram?
Oh, I have. If we're talking about just talent for tight ends, like he's right at there at the top.
Oh, yeah.
Fast.
You do like the Giants' offense this year, too.
I'm high on the Giants' offense this year. The big thing with him, though, is he gets hurt every year.
Yeah.
Banged up, he misses games. And like I said, I'm high on the Giants offense because of how many options they have. Like some games, he's just going to completely disappear. He will have big games. Having said all that, he is an every week starter for me.
I was going to say, I thought you were trying to
as they go.
No, I thought you were trying to lean him towards streamer, but
because he actually has the tools to be an elite guy.
Yeah.
Like should be up toward the top. He's still pretty high for me. I have him between Darren Waller and Higbee, right after Waller.
Really, you haven't? We have drafted Evan Ingram then in our 20-team league or no?
I'd have to go check. But you got to think last year before he got hurt. I mean, he was a top 5 tight end for Britt. He was like number 2 tight end behind Austin Hooper.
Yeah, I just don't like Ingram at all. But I don't necessarily agree with this. But he definitely is an every week starter. For me, he's like in between these two tiers.
Let me go ahead and settle the tie.
Okay.
Britt, just in time, tell him why Evan Ingram is a every week starter.
Well, I mean, you pretty much made the point right there, Keller. He was the number 2 tight end before he got hurt. I mean, I averaged out his stats for if he would have been healthy, just what he was averaging through those first 8 or 9 games, whatever he played, and he would have finished as a top 3 tight end. So
There you go.
right behind Kittle and
because
Kelsey.
Matt's salty because he doesn't have your video set up.
No. Yeah, don't turn on
Well,
your video right now. You can just be in the
I'm
background.
just chiming in.
Yeah, just be in the background
He
for right now.
tried.
What's
I
up,
had to stick up
Nation?
for I had to stick up for Higbee too. Matt wanted to put him in streamer.
No, dude. Higbee was a monster last year. People don't realize I had Jared Cook, so I was very fortunate to have 2 pretty damn good tight ends going to the end of the year. But Higbee, I'm telling you, like people are worried about Gerald Everett. I wouldn't be concerned at all with him. Higbee is going to be an every week starter. He's going to finish
Yeah, I mean,
top 10.
where we have him.
Yeah.
Can you see the board that we're looking at, Britt?
No.
All right, well, I'll just tell
Be
you.
able to click.
Oh wait,
you should
hold
be
on,
able to
hold
click
on.
to watch stream, right?
Yep.
All right.
Okay.
Don't turn on
There
your
we
video, though.
Alrighty.
That's where we are so far.
All right, so the next guy.
The
We're
voice
all-
of reason is here, Factors.
Okay. Next guy, Zach Ertz. We already did a video on him. You know how I feel about him. I'm not high on him this year.
This is the argument that Matt knew was coming.
Yes.
For me, he is the last of our elite tight ends. For
Britt.
me, he's still putting up the numbers. We already went over in our video we did last week, 135 targets.
Yes, but we're
I
talking about
understand
this
a lot of that
season.
was due to injured wide receivers, but he is a stud tight end. He still has a lot left in the tank, I think. He is my 4th and last elite tight end.
Britt.
Hold on. I want to address one issue real quick. I mean, y'all have Mark Andrews at elite, okay?
Yeah.
Why isn't Darren Waller elite?
I'll put him as elite right now. You gotta convince Ryan to do.
I mean, 90 catches, over 1,000 yards last year. He did only have 3 touchdowns, but I mean, you can't
because
Go ahead.
just like Mark Andrews, like you could say Darren Waller's only done it 1 year, right? Well, same with Andrews.
Exactly.
But I think Andrews'
Reason, like-
situation is way higher than Darren Waller's.
That's a running offense.
It led the league in touchdown passes last year.
I mean, on a down year, yes, I'll give you that.
I mean a down year.
How many touchdown passes do you have?
High 30s.
Yeah, okay. The year before, I guarantee it was over 40, and then
What was Mahomes
had
50? Like
50.
Okay.
Manning had 50. Like, let's be serious. It was a down year for touchdowns. But I'm just like, to me, you either put Andrews in the top tier of every week starter or you move Waller up. Like, because they're the same guy, let's be honest.
Why did I have Waller ranked 30 spots lower than him?
I don't know.
The voice of
Maybe
reason's
bias
here,
towards
Ryan.
The Raiders.
The voice of reason's here. I'm putting Waller as elite.
Thank you.
2
Thank
versus 1. Like,
Okay, then Matt, are you going to put Ertz as
yeah,
elite?
I'll give him the behind
Okay.
Waller. All right, and his co-partner, Dallas Goddard.
Goddard's going to be a streamer to me.
Yeah,
That's where I am with Goddard too.
Now, if Ertz gets hurt, Goddard has top 2 potential, let's be honest, because he can
Oh,
catch
for
the
sure.
majority of those touchdowns.
In the current situation, you're right. He's a streamer, and he eventually may even be like they both could be viable in that offense to play at the same time.
I'm putting him
Sort of
ahead
like
of Gesicki.
Like when the Patriots had Gronk and Aaron Hernandez, they were
Oh,
both
yeah.
playable.
Yep.
Can I
Yeah,
put him
he's a streamer.
ahead of Gesicki?
I have some other guys ahead of him, but I mean,
I'm putting him number 2 then. All right, Greg Olsen. God, somehow we picked Greg Olsen as the Seahawks tight end when they have think
We
10
know the situation there
You
in
got 8
Seattle,
tight
in
ends.
Seattle. They had Will Dissly, who was decent before he got hurt, and they had Hollister come in, catch some touchdowns.
Also
Now they
decent.
signed Greg Olsen, who's pretty damn old now. So just due to all that, Seahawks want to run the ball. They have DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett there. Matt knows where this is heading. He's just not a viable fantasy tight end anymore. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna say he is trash.
I'm gonna say trash too. He will probably be streamable like 1 or 2 weeks this year. But yeah, throw him in the
streamable means like
more than not.
You're able to like
You
predict.
feel confident.
Yeah, you're able to predict the games where he might do okay. I think
That's what
Greg
I'm
Olsen is going to have some games where it's like you think he's going to do well, and he's going to be trash, and then he'll go off like one game where you don't expect.
He's going to have games where he doesn't catch a pass. So.
I feel like the threshold here is like streamers like more than about 50% of the time they have a playable game, and then trash is like, maybe 1 out of every 7 or 8 games.
Yeah. All right, Bills Mafia, my team, my new team for 2020.
I know this guy,
Dawson Knox. I'm not trying to hype him up at all because I think we're gonna put him in the trash category. But
yeah, like he's shown a couple flashes, not even a couple flashes, maybe 1 flash before. But on that offense, we know they're running offense, and then when they're not running the ball, they have Stephon Diggs and John Brown now. There's not going to be enough for him to be a playable tight end. Not even streamable for me.
The thing is, he might be streamable, but with all these other guys that are going to be ahead of him, you're going to pick those guys up over him anyway. So you just put him in trash. All right,
I agree.
George Kittle.
I mean, we all know he's elite.
Yes.
Yep.
He's shown it now for multiple seasons. I actually have him ranked above Kelsey, but I mean, they're
spoilers.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, that we haven't got there yet in our rankings. So spoiler alert. But yeah,
not
George
much to be
Kittle,
said.
he's obviously elite.
Debo is going to be out for the beginning part of the year too, so could have even 4 receptions. All right, Ryan, your boy. Talk about him all offseason. Gronk.
Yeah, here we go.
All right, Gronk. We know he's signed with the Buccaneers. We
I know
he's
you want to
Tom
put
Brady's favorite target of all time. He is the
Don't do it.
best tight end to ever play.
Yeah, I agree with that.
In the National Football League.
All right, come on, let's go.
Don't do it though.
He has more touchdowns over his career than anybody in that span.
I know. Look, all we care about is 2020, right, Matt? There you go.
Get him out of there. Having said all that, OJ Howard and Cameron Braid are still there. They still have Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. He is going to get his touchdowns, though. He is a back end every week starter.
Oh, see, I'm putting him on the front end of streamer.
Yes. All right, 2v1. Front end of streamer.
I'm sorry.
He will be drafted as an every week starter.
Yeah, he'll be drafted, but this is our predictions on how he will finish the 2020 season.
Do you think it's that ridiculous for him to catch a shit ton of touchdowns this year?
No, but that's what streamers do. That's not what every week starters do.
Well, if they catch a shit ton of touchdowns, then they're not a streamer. They're an every week starter.
No, but if you're basing your like if you're going for touchdowns and not yardage, then it's a streamer.
I'm going for touchdowns with the best touchdown catching tight end of all time.
Okay, hear me out on this.
3 years ago.
Look, 5 targets a game. That's 80 targets in a season. That's what I feel like is a good floor for a tight end. 5 targets. Kittle gets 5 targets. Kelsey gets 5 targets. Like that's like a solid floor.
Kittle's
is
getting more than 5
getting 5 targets a game? No, I'm just saying like that's a solid top 10 floor for a tight end.
And I'll counter with it doesn't matter how many targets he gets, how many end zone targets is he
No, but that's why we're saying streamer, because he's going to have those games where he does catch up like 2 catches, 18 yards, 2 touchdowns. You know what I'm saying? But
Brett,
like he's all, huh?
I'm just saying, like you came in, you said you were the voice of reason. I started laughing, but I think you might be right. You might be right this episode.
Y'all are agreeing on me.
Newsflash, I am. Headline, I am.
That was gonna be longer than that.
Sorry.
All right, well, I don't even want to talk about this guy, Jeremy Sprinkle.
Oh, you're putting him at streamer. You just shut me down.
It's 2v1.
Okay, I'm just making sure. So just know. He'll be top 10 tight end.
We'll come back to this video.
Sprinkles.
We'll sprinkle him in the trash a little bit because
it's gonna
be all
For
the
those
worst.
who don't know, Jeremy Sprinkle is the Washington football team's tight end.
Sorry, I almost said it. My bad.
Just
Thank
say
you.
the Redskins. Jesus.
No, I can't say that. He's the Washington football team's tight end. We know their tight end for the last 8 years here and there has been Jordan Reed, who can never stay on the field. So
Is he
Jeremy
still there?
Sprinkle. I think they officially cut him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Jeremy Sprinkle. He's
They might have the worst offense in the league, so you're not going to want to play a tight end on the worst offense in the league.
pretty bad.
All right,
True.
an offense that should be up and coming maybe, but I'm still not trusting him. The Bengals, CJ Uzoma.
Yeah, it's trash.
He said up and coming offense might perform decently, but yeah, at this time he is trash.
He hasn't been
Any other
relevant.
good options there?
Here's an interesting one.
Yeah, interesting one. I think he's a top 5 tight end last year. Austin Hooper now going to the Browns. They still have David Njoku there. I think he's been trying to get a trade, but
Yeah, which is weird, man. Like
knows?
when they signed him, I was like, what the fuck? Like Njoku's there. They
Yeah.
hyped him up so bad.
Talking about he's on the Browns now. For me, on the Browns, he is a back end every week starter.
really.
I'm streamer.
See, I'm streamer too.
Njoku's there. You have Odell, Jarvis Landry, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt. You have I know,
Why
but
they
like,
got
hold
Austin
on.
Hooper?
But like in this situation, you're relying on Baker to throw a lot of touchdowns, right? We agree. Because last year Austin Hooper was better because he got touchdowns. I feel like he got how many touchdowns did he have last year?
A lot.
8, 9.
A decent amount.
I just feel like he's touchdown dependent, and I mean, you're really counting on Baker Mayfield here. That's my opinion.
They're going to be a running team
or,
too.
Ahead or after Gronk?
He had 6 touchdowns last year, 800 yards.
I'll put him after Gronk if that makes you feel happy. Happier. Or do you want him ahead of Gronk?
Behind Gronk, but I have both of them as every week starters, so
I'd put him ahead of Gronk.
I'd probably put him ahead of Gronk too, but I'll let Ryan make this decision because we threw both of his guys in the streamer.
Ryan said he was an every week starter.
What I'm saying is we're gonna have to a couple of these streamers. We're gonna have to move up. We're running out of names here, and we still got some every week starters.
We have a few every week starters coming up.
Yeah. All right, Noah Fant, another up and coming offense. I'll throw him as an every week starter if you want.
I actually kind of agree with Matt there.
No,
I didn't.
No, I there's so many targets there, but I think
Is there?
There's so many.
Cortland Sutton. Okay, I'll give you that
Melvin
one.
Gordon, Jerry Jeudy.
Melvin Gordon. Oh, Jerry Jeudy's a rookie. Come on, we really we don't know what he is yet.
But Noah Fant was kind of inconsistent last year.
He was 40 catches, 560 yards, 3 touchdowns. But what didn't he come on towards the end of the season? I feel like
they did when Drew Lock started making his little run too.
Yeah, I mean he had.
This is for the 2020 season, so
touchdown.
I could see him making a step.
100 yards and touchdown.
I was an every week starter.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
I also had the last 2 as every week starters. So what do I know?
I mean, he had 66 targets, and I feel like a lot of that was definitely towards the back end of the season.
All right, Ryan Keller Jack Doyle on the Colts. Phillip Rivers coming in. Phillip Rivers liked Hunter Henry in the past, and Antonio Gates.
Zach Doyle has been your prototypical streamer the last few years. I feel like he's still just right there in that territory.
I think he could end up.
Ebron's gone, so that helps him.
Yeah, I think he could end up as an every week starter, but as of right now, I think I agree. I'm throwing him as a streamer.
I feel like he could be an every week starter, and T.Y. Hilton could be a top 10 wide receiver, just because Phillip Rivers is. I feel like he can still sling it. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know.
I mean, even if he can't, he can dump it off at least to a Jack Doyle.
That's true.
All right, Tyler Eifert, the guy you always hoped would just start producing and just never did.
Derek had him the one year. He actually had a decent year.
This is not your Tyler Eifert from 5 or 6 years ago when he had his really big season.
I'm going to look at those stats.
Jacksonville, which we know is a terrible place
Okay.
for tight ends to play.
Okay, in the season he went off, how many yards do you think he had?
1,200.
600. How many touchdowns do you think
he probably had a lot of touchdowns.
15.
13.
Yeah, that's what it was. Okay.
Oh my god. That's insane.
Yeah, he was a beast, but he just can't stay on the field, so I'm just gonna throw him in the trash.
Trash. Yep.
God, speaking of trash, Jesus. Travis Kelce might be, I'm just joking, probably the best tight end over the past 5 years.
I'd put him ahead of Kittle.
He is for sure the best tight end of our little era here. The the post Gronk tight end era. Gronk owned it, for about 5 years, and Kelsey took over. He's been number one the past few years. Like I said, I have Kittle ahead of him by one spot, but they're both
I think
about
it's super close.
they'll put up pretty similar numbers.
I'm gonna throw him behind Kittle though. I agree with you.
Ooh.
Kittle up and coming. Kelsey, there's a lot of receivers there that could take some targets from him. All right, Hunter Henry, another guy that had so much potential, can't stay on the field. Still with the Chargers. Phillip Rivers gone. Tyrod Taylor coming in. Tyrod Taylor, made Charles Clay somewhat relevant in fantasy when he was on the Bills. So can you do it with Henry?
When Hunter Henry's been healthy, he's been productive.
Yeah, I think
it was decent last year.
650 yards, 5 touchdowns, and that's only in 12 games. So, I mean, you average that out. I guarantee you he's a top 10 tight end.
Every week starter?
Yeah, he's every week starter for me.
We're at. Tell me when to stop.
Tyrod Taylor worries me. But... Killer.
You put him at the front?
You know the Price is Right game where you move the guy up the mountain.
God. Hey, did y'all see Regis Philbin died?
Yeah, spoilers.
He's in the trash category.
Who? Regis Philbin?
Put him behind Hayden Hurst.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, I like that too.
Now, Phillip Rivers is still there. Probably go a little higher, but Tyrod. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Now, Ryan's tight end for 2020. The only Texans fan left.
If you remember last year, he led tight ends in touchdowns for about 3/4 of the year somehow, even though Texans barely throw their tight ends. The reason he is trash, though, is because I actually like Jordan Aikens. I'm not saying he's still trash.
The reason he's trash.
Probably had no yards last year, just got lucky and had like 7 touchdowns. I actually like Jordan Aikens and Jordan Thomas better than him. He was the guy that caught the touchdowns last year. There's not going to be a playable tight end on the Texans though, so he's trash.
Yeah.
Look at that. It's like a perfect.
Oh yeah, we had a pretty good.
We want to make one more every week starter. We only have 11 starters.
Okay, well, I mean, we'll throw one in there for you. Okay.
Well, hold on here. Let's do this. Name me one tight end in streamer or below that could finish top 5.
Well, we're all gonna disagree on this, so it's not gonna.
No, I know. You're just fucking like, I don't know. You just got a hunch.
I'll say. Damn.
See, like, for me, it's Hawkinson. I think he can take the next step.
Of course.
I like him.
I just want to say, if the Detroit Lions do as well as Britt thinks they're gonna do, then they might win the Super Bowl this year.
That was the biggest sure thing we knew was coming right there.
All right, come on, go ahead. That's my.
I like Gronk.
Okay, Gronkowski. Matt?
I'll say Goddard.
I like that pick. Yeah.
So we all disagreed. So I'm gonna throw Hoop. I'll give Ryan his Gronk pick.
Yeah.
We'll throw him in every week starter.
Now name an elite player who doesn't finish top 5.
Mine's gonna be Zach Ertz.
Probably say Zach Ertz too, just because he has like some negative things going against him.
Yeah.
I think it's either him or
I think I might say Mark Andrews. I don't know.
I think it's either him or Waller.
I thought you'd be an Andrews guy, Britt. You're not though.
Well, no. Hold on. I'm not. It's not. I'm not an Andrews guy. It's just we're picking from 5 tight ends, like the top 5. So it's.
I think they're all gonna be okay.
Like I would love to draft Andrews like in the 4th or 5th round, but
might get that chance.
Yeah.
All right. So this is our tiers. If you disagree with us, comment below. If you agree with us, comment below. If you don't. If you're just neutral, comment below. Hit the like button. Yes, thank you, Britt. And subscribe. We're almost, I think we hit 170 subscribers just recently. So thanks for everyone that subscribed. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, all those things. And other than that,
Yep.
Peace out.